we should be live. Let's get over here. Welcome to this an emergency Scuffed show, where we are gonna be covering the Trump and FBI Director Kash Patel press conference. I have the Portland Andy stream queued up, so we'll get there once it starts. Unless someone else is covering, like, oh, here's Right Side Broadcasting. Let's just get through the ads. So
yeah, we've always stood with Capitol
this is
Police and law
previously
enforcement, and we've shown
recorded.
that in word and deed.
So right now we don't have anything yet. I will be keeping an eye on it. But anyways, welcome to the Scuffed Show. I am your host, Carmelart199. And yeah, we are live. It is currently 11:09 a.m. Pacific Standard, which I should be having lunch right about now, but this is more important. And nothing Portland Andy wise. Alright. So, let's just real quickly check in on RSBN, like usual.
Conservative Republicans, the White House, that's who serves in the White House right now. If Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or a Democrat were there, they would look at it with a totally different set of lenses. But I can tell you that when we look at that, we prioritize troops and law enforcement, absolutely. So if there is a mechanism to do that, they will find it and they will fund it. The reason, the way they were able to get the troops paid for this paycheck, and as I said, this is not an enduring solution because we will run out of the funds, but there were some unspent funds in effectively R&D accounts in defense. They moved that over to prioritize payment of those who are putting their lives on the line today and who have families in serious situations. That money will be replaced, as has been explained by the White House, after the funding gets going again. If we can find a similar mechanism to take care of Capitol Police, of course, they'll do that, but that's in a separate branch, so a different determination. Yes, sir.
Speaker, this is day 15 of the shutdown now, and leaders police just kind of addressed this.
All right, so it's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard.
You guys have already lost 2 weeks of that. Is there a point in the future where you decide to put either another continuing resolution on the floor, like in the next couple of weeks, or why not just put some of your appropriation bills that were passed out of committee on the floor during the shutdown?
Our appropriators have been hard at work, even during the shutdown. They had, remember, in the House, we passed all 12 separate appropriations bills through committee, 3 off the floors. There's 9 left. They've been working to put those together and prepare them for action. And whether or not they're all collected here in D.C. or they're working individually at home as a group, you know, we have lots of means of communication right now. So the appropriators are working not just among colleagues in the chamber, but chamber to chamber. So it's a bipartisan discussion that's been going on. As I mentioned several days back, I even spoke myself with Patty Murray, who's the lead on appropriations in the Senate, Democrat side. So that work has been going on. With regard to the timeline of the CR, it would do us no good to pass yet another CR out of the House because it will meet the same fate. Chuck Schumer and the Senate Democrats want to close the government down. They are gleeful about this. They are happy that troops are suffering all this pain, apparently, because they've just voted now 9 times collectively. Democrats in Congress have voted 9 times to block the pay of troops and Capitol Police and all the federal employees and, by extension, all the civilian contractors and everybody else. So we would just be going through an exercise in political futility to pass another CR. It is ironic that the 7 weeks on the clean CR that we passed, September 19th, was a date that was determined by Republicans and Democrats in the House. The appropriators determined together that that should be the length of the CR, and they stipulated together that it should be clean. The Democrats at the time said, please don't put any Republican priorities on that so that we can all do this in good faith, and we didn't. We put a clean CR, and still they voted no. Why? Because their leadership, Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, told them they had to. So I think appropriators want to get back to work. I know every House Republican does. But we've got to get the lights turned back on, and Chuck Schumer and the Democrats need to vote to do that so we can get back to regular legislative session. Yes, ma'am.
Last
Yes, ma'am.
question. Just follow up though. So the Senate is actually trying to advance some appropriations bills. Are you saying that therefore we able to get some bills ready for the floor, we'll bring them back, bring the chamber back, even if the CR isn't passed?
Leader Thune is trying to advance the defense approach bill today. We'll see how that turns out. My suspicion is the Democrats are going to play their same political games and stop that cold. I hope I'm surprised by that, but we'll see. We're on a 48-hour return notice for House Republicans and the House itself. Dependent upon action in the Senate, we can get all this moving again, and we can get back to all the regular order and all the things that are stacking up on our plates. It is ironic that even though Democrats decided upon the end date, the 7 weeks to go to November 21, it is the Democrat leadership that is eating up the clock. And they are doing great harm to the American people, not just by suspending services, vital services and paychecks, but also because of the backlog of work that the Congress has to get done. And we cannot do it while hardworking Americans are suffering because of these antics, and that's why we're demanding, insisting that they get it open. I'll leave you with this.
All right, I'll turn off the camera real quick.
So grateful
But I'll still be in the room.
Free Caucus leadership team that helped us articulate this contrast. I'll just say this again. You have two parties on a split screen right now. You have President Trump and the Republican Party reducing your taxes, cutting government red tape and regulations to get the economy going again, passing historic legislation to boost the economy and bring down the cost of living. You have Republicans who have ended the border crisis, almost zero illegal crossings in the last 4 months. You have Republicans who are working to end the crime crisis and support law enforcement and ICE officers and all those who are wearing that badge and putting their lives on the line and supporting our troops, as we talked about today. You have Republicans who are ending fraud, waste, and abuse in government and making government work more efficiently and effectively for the people. And you have President Trump and the White House and his administration ending conflicts that are killing millions of people around the world. Day, and we'll continue to come in every morning and tell the American people the plain and simple facts, because the facts are going to win the day here. The American people are not stupid. They see what's going on, and they know who's to blame. Thanks for being here this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you to Speaker Johnson and House Republican leadership for that press conference earlier today, updating us day 15 of the Palestinian Senator Chuck Schumer of New York City, his shutdown, and Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries holding paychecks hostage for our hardworking military members. You heard the statistics there, that within the top 10 rankings in the top 10 states, 65,000 of those active duty individuals just over the border right down south here in the Peach State of Georgia. And many of those, 17,000 active duty in the Empire State of New York. So just what the heck is Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer doing, playing political games? They truly do not care about the American people, and they do not care about our military. And it's really a sad state of affairs as the House Republicans passing that clean CR. Time to roll up the sleeves, Democrats, and get back to work. Now, every year we know it's the same old story. Someone in the family starts coughing, you think it's a little cold. It turns out to be much, much worse. And what are you to do? Well, allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN has 10% off of
Yeah, that is a sponsor, which I am going to mute. And we're not going to deal with sponsors because while I like the grift, I even have the support, the snark up top. Just now is not the time. Especially since we still need to cover the Patel stuff. So we're doing this. Once the ads are done, I will unmute. Alright, we're going back.
Would be something that no one really bet on, but you can do that right here. Trade on anything. Kalshi.com/RSBN. Scan the QR code. New York City, it is roughly less than 3 weeks from now. Early voting underway in New York, the Garden State, right across the way, right across the Hoboken River there for New Jersey, and down to the Commonwealth of Virginia. Big races to close out 2025. Will Andrew Cuomo win that as an independent? The Democrat communist Mamdani on the ballot, as well as Curtis Sliwa accepting back-to-back Republican nominations. Kalshi.com/RSBN. Will Los Angeles Dodgers repeat the World Series championship? We'll see there as in sports, music, culture, and more. Politics as well. Everything there to trade on anything in the United States and abroad. Kalshi.com/RSBN as it's day 15 of the government shutdown. I'm Robert McNeely. It's always a joy to be with you here at Rightside Broadcasting Network's live desk. You see a live shot of the United States Senate. If leadership comes out, we will take you right there. But never fear, Ashley Brassfield of the Daily Caller is here. Thanks for coming on the show and breaking down some of the stuff you're working on. There's now this ticker, if you will. You can go online and actually watch what legislators and who are with President Trump and who's not. And that's good to see, because sometimes, regardless of the Republican or Democrat label, some are really with him and some are really against him.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And this is no new idea. They're calling it the Trump score, but this is accumulating a massive amounts of data, whether it be voting records, rhetoric, see who aligns best with the president. And some of the ones that top that list being Andy Biggs, of course, from Arizona. And then at bottom out with the Democrats, Raphael Warnock from my home state of Georgia, actually, which I found pretty comical. But yeah, you can go check out this list. It's the Institute of Legal Analysis that actually put it out, and kind of gives you a better idea of who aligns with the president, which I'm sure the viewers can really appreciate, because they kind of said, sometimes the media gives this false kind of connotation of who actually does align with the president, who doesn't, and this kind of gives you some analytical data to break that down.
And I'm sure as 2026 gets underway for politicos like us, Ashley, we're excited to see what takes place. Andy Biggs, the congressman running for governor out in State 48, and breaking news that Governor Brian Kemp, from Georgia, endorsing Mr. Dewey for the United States Senate race. So lots of big primary races coming up. We'll be sure to watch that. But right now we have roughly
Honestly,
2 weeks early
anything
voting
is
underway
better.
in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and Democrats.
That is my 2 cents. Alright, much better. Yeah, but yeah, anything is better than our current governor in Arizona. Oh, we may have
merch still being on her website seems to kind of indicate otherwise, I would say, and gives you the direct answer that you need. And like you said earlier, talking about the text messages that were sent out across the state to, this is more even soft Democrats or moderate Democrats, that were responses that were actually crazy. You'll have to go read the piece to find out more about what they say, but really kind of atrocious rhetoric coming from some of these people, backing these text messages. One of them from Jay Jones talking about putting 2 bullets in the head of the former Republican leader delegate in Virginia, and then as well as killing his children, and stomping on his grave and urinating on his grave, basically. So that's the kind of rhetoric some of these soft and moderate Democrats were sharing. And so I think it's quite alarming, coming from what's been happening in the last few weeks from, violence coming from the left, and the rhetoric that is coming from that side overall. It definitely highlights that even more.
Evidence showing us that it really is a problem on the far left, this violence, when you look at actions over the course of countless years and really the last 2 decades, also the finger pointing. So I've stood to correct people when they tell me it's a both sides issue. It really isn't as we look into this, but we know that our dear friend, the late, great Charlie Kirk, would have wanted more dialogue because more dialogue leads to less violence. And yesterday at the White House, Erica Kirk reminding us of that grace and that love, that bond she had with Charlie, stating that it's more powerful than it's ever been right now. Just some of your thoughts on that as friends and family came together in a new and improved Rose Garden, all under the tutelage of President Trump.
Yes, a very functional rose garden, everybody likes to say. But yes, Erica Kirk really had some amazing words, calling it the best birthday present she could have ever gotten Charlie, and the president gave to him, saying that he's not a materialistic man. And I think we saw that with Charlie and his rhetoric. I think a very interesting aspect of the actual Medal of Freedom was the crucifix that was located on the back of it. I think one of a kind, I want to say Benny Johnson reported that and showed a video of Erica opening that up to the back of the medal with that crucifix located on it with Charlie's name. I think it says a lot about Charlie. And like you said, Charlie would want the rhetoric to continue, would want the dialogue. That's what he did best and what really he died doing, and he loved that. So I think it was a really touching moment. It was really great to see them honoring Charlie. He deserves it, really, as really all I can say.
The highest civilian honor that can be received in this country, and to know a friend like Charlie, to have that honor his name with a medal that's really one of a kind, a special moment to be part of that, as our thoughts and condolences, our prayers continue to be with the Kirk family in these sad but joyous days. Revival happening in the halls of government, in the pews of churches across this great country of ours, and peace coming to the Middle East, as we saw on Monday. Ashley, how do you think this will hold up? Will there be any congressional...
I gotta go have lunch. I will be back, but I will keep an eye on this right side. looking, waiting for President Trump and I'm going to put up RSBN and we will go back. Alright, let me turn on audio.
To the $24 to $26 range, and now you just want to make some profit, right? So you bought low and now you want to sell high. There's nothing wrong with that strategy, right? So now you can take that money. For me now, if I bought silver, you know, let's say 5 years ago at $25, you know, a coin, and now I'm looking to sell, you know, I might be selling because I need the money to live on, and now I still have just as much money now to use for my bills as I would have 5 years ago, right? So there's the buy low and sell high. Then there is the buy and sell and hold for when we actually need it. So I'm 62. I don't necessarily plan on retiring anytime soon. I enjoy working. But if I were to retire at 65, then I might take, you know, some metals and sell them to live off, but not selling all of them. So in 5 years from now, I'm looking at silver probably being 150, maybe 200, maybe $300 per troy ounce. Like I said, some are looking at Trump's term and thinking, hey, this silver's going to be between $500 and $800 an ounce, if not more. So, you know, if you're a retiree or you're pre-retiree, you want to be investing in, you know, maybe rounds and coins because, one, you want to grow the value of your savings, but then on the flip side, you might want to have a small portion just in case you need to buy and sell. So there are various scenarios on why you would buy silver rounds or silver coins, or if you would buy low, which was several years ago, and then sell today. I wouldn't sell today unless I needed some money to live on. But then I wouldn't sell all of it. I would sell maybe to cover my needs, my current needs. So there are various scenarios, and depending on your goal and your long-term goal, you know, those are the things that you take into account when you decide what you're going to buy, how much you're going to buy, and how long you're going to hold what you purchase.
Now, how does the Middle East plan maybe come into this and people wanting to diversify based on what the world economy is doing? In addition to, we have President Trump, who has really changed the ballgame with tariffs and brought that into negotiation. And we do know that a lot of what's still fueling the Russian war machine, the oil commodities coming from Iran and also China. So how do all those play together in this world of 4D chess to affect us here at home? Because we know each person roughly owes, and this is, you know, the K through 12 minors as well who don't have necessarily a full-time job, the $120,000 of debt on average per every single American in the United States. And what does that mean for these hot commodities and ultimately each and everyone's individual savings?
I think it's the geopolitical uncertainty that is going to probably continue driving the price of silver and gold up. These are just some of the factors that are causing them to go up. I wish we didn't have all this craziness, you know, around the globe. Unfortunately, we do. We see that mankind is deteriorating rapidly into something that looks like a caveman to me personally. In all of these scenarios in every nation, in every country, you've got war, you've got rumors of war, you've got one group of people slaughtering another group of people, you've got, war for oil, there's just so much uncertainty out there right now on the face of the planet. And all of those things, depending on how you're looking at it, fortunately or unfortunately, makes metals go up. And so in some cases, I look at it, well, if it doesn't impact me, okay, well, I'm sorry for those who are being impacted by these, geopolitical things. But at the end of the day, I'm still human. And I still look at what's happening to my brothers and sisters from other nations who are, in some cases being slaughtered, some cases are being starved, some cases they're being put to war. There's all these things that are occurring, but they do have an impact on precious metals. And, fortunately, if you're a saver, on one hand, that's a good thing, because you want to grow. We always want to grow our savings. And so we're always trying to, how do I say, well, we're trying to make a profit. Some of us are trying to make a profit. Some of us are just trying to make a living. Some of us just want to exist. And gold and silver, has an impact in every one of those type of scenarios. So geopolitically, globally, all of those things that you mentioned, they're putting pressure on the dollar, which is causing the dollar to be weakened. And a weak dollar makes silver and gold look good. It makes it go up.
And that's why this monetary gold's presidential gold guide, the complimentary gold guide, is that best way to really look at what your goals are, whether it's leaving generational wealth to buying that first home. The viewers can go to rsbnforthegold.com. David, any new breaking ideas or things on the threshold for the company, but also with this bullish silver market, anything else you'd like to share today for the viewers here at Right Side Broadcasting Network?
So, one, I would like to say that, we were doing this thing the last month with you guys that we were offering to cover your IRA fees for the life. It turns out the viewers really like that. They like, because some people call and say, hey, man, I'm spending nearly $1,000 a year on these fees. If the account holder, the administrator does anything in your account, well, there's a fee for that. When they're buying and selling, there are more fees. There's annual fees. And so it turns out that a lot of the viewers from RSBN really like that. So we're going to kind of extend that for a little while, allow those who haven't had the opportunity, to speak to somebody, to kind of share what their goals are, what their long-term goals are. Because, like we've talked before, no two goals are the same. I've got 6 children. I'm trying to save for my children and my children's children. And I would like to give something to all of them at some point when, before my day comes. And, if I'm spending $1,000 a year in annual fees, and if I've been saving for 25 plus years, well, right there's $25,000 that I could have been purchasing, some additional metals. I could have used that to come up. So that's one of the big things that we're going to stick with for RSBN viewers is we will cover. You have to qualify. It's just not free. Depending on your criteria, we can share how to set that up, and then we, Monetary Gold, will pay all of the annual fees for the life of your account. And the free guide, I would say definitely get the free guide. The free guide will basically open your eyes to some things that are happening geopolitically. And it just kind of shows you, okay, so here's what you do, step 1, step 2, step 3. Here's how you protect yourself, how you protect your nest egg. And that's really what the guide will share with you. And I would add this, we're all looking at the world. We're all looking at what's going on in the news. We're looking at what's happening in our government. What are you concerned about? call us and share that with us. Are you worried that things aren't going to look the same 5 years from now? Are you worried that Trump might, some people are saying, oh, Trump's going to go for a third term. Well, what would that do to the dollar? It would probably make gold and silver go up even more. But really, tell us, what are your concerns? What are the things that are scaring you the most? And what's preventing you and what's prohibiting you from getting on the train to protect your finances? So, even more than just getting the guide, call us. We'll help you come up with a game plan. We'll together we'll look at, okay, what do you want? Okay, here's what we can do to kind of take these steps to move you in that direction. So get the guide, and definitely ask about having us cover your IRA fees, because we'll do that for the life of your account.
David Schroeder of Monetary Gold, the spokesperson, speaking truth. We always enjoy having you right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. Again, Monetary Gold, the best in the business. RSBN for the gold.com. What do you have to lose other than the complimentary presidential gold guide that can help you through what is an exciting time for silver and gold? I think we have many things on the horizon, but again, this golden era can really turn into much bigger wealth for each and every individual American. David, thank you again for your time, and we'll see you again very soon at Right Side Broadcasting Network.
All right. See you next week. Take care.
And as we prepare for President Trump to participate in a press conference with FBI Director Kash Patel, we're thankful for many sponsors.
That starts in about 6 minutes. All right, let's mute up. We will return to it in about 6 minutes. So, again, it's going to be a bit interesting because we don't know what Trump and Director Patel is going to be doing. I hope that there's going to be some coverage on Transclefa or Antifa, but we don't really know. So, could there be some coverage? Who knows? Who knows? All right. So, again, from stream last night, we know who is the main Antifa leader in the U.S. from Andy No, who uncovered it 2.5 years ago. He reported on the man behind the Torch Antifa network, a violent group of Antifa cells that include Portland's Rose City Antifa, who is Daryl Lamont Jenkins. Of course, what I'm curious about is the local chapter for Phoenix, if there is one. And the Torch Antifa website is also person who runs Torch Antifa also runs the One People's Project, which is a 501c3, which should get that designation stripped away because they're funding for Antifa. And we all see, if you've seen any stream, what Antifa is doing. And, of course, again, this is from May 24th, 2023. Alright. So, yeah. Just wanted to give that update. And here's Portland Andy. Yeah. Yep, waiting. Now this is... Oh, wait, this is Broadview. So yeah, this is Broadview, Illinois. I think Broadview is a suburb of Chicago. Like how, again, bringing up Phoenix, like how Peoria is a suburb. Yeah. Hold on, I think they want the Ice Ages to take their masks off, but they aren't willing to take... Transquiff isn't willing to take off their mask. Like how I'm not willing to take off the sunglasses. Alright. Let's see what the goober the Governor Pritzker's saying. No, wait, no. Alright, we are awaiting. Hold on, let me turn on the audio.
This great battle in the golden era of this nation, nearly 250 years young, as President Trump has continued to really lead on the world stage. And we've seen that with the Peacemaker photo. Cut number 1, Mr. Producer, that we can scratch out 7 peacetime victories in 7 months, but rather the ending of 8 wars over the course of 8 months. An exciting time to see as we can add Israel and Hamas to that very list. President Trump showcasing that on his Truth Social. And so much of this really now turns to focus on China. Xi Jinping, the premier of the Communist Party and leader of the Chinese nation. Secretary Bessent earlier commented today on the challenges that come now as President Trump in the near future is set to meet with Xi Jinping in South Korea on neutral soil and territory to discuss the future, as the United States government wants what's best for the Chinese citizens. There's no question about that. But part of this global trade strategy and the use of tariffs is to remove the power vacuum that was once into by the communists thanks to the Otto Penn administration. And Secretary Bessent goes in depth about this for a few minutes. If we could do cut 20, Mr. Producer. The Treasury Secretary joining Trade Representative and Ambassador Jamison Greer today to speak on just this very issue about U.S. and China trade and how that affects the entire world.
Said, we want to help China, not hurt it. If some in the Chinese government want to slow down the global economy through disappointing actions and through economic coercion, the Chinese economy will be hurt the most. And make no mistake, this is China versus the world. They have put these unacceptable export controls on the entire world. China is a command and control economy, and we and our allies will neither be commanded nor controlled. They are a state economy, and we are not going to let a group of bureaucrats in Beijing try to manage the global supply chains. As Ambassador Greer said, we had a document and an agreement in Geneva, and magnets were flowing quite well. Some U.S. auto companies have called us in the past week and said that there had been a slowdown in magnets. So when we asked the Chinese about this, they said, oh, it probably had something to do with the holiday. Had something to do with the holiday. So they can't be trusted with the global supply chain. Had something to do with the holiday. Moreover, we should this should be a clear sign to our allies that we must work together, and work together we will. There will be a series of meetings this week during World Bank IMF week, and we are all aligned. Not only is China fueling Russia's war, but China's actions have once again demonstrated the risk of being dependent on them on rare earths, and for that matter, anything. If China wants to be an unreliable partner to the world, then the world will have to decouple. The world does not want to decouple. We want to de-risk. But signals like this are signs of decoupling, which we don't believe China wants. And again, we do not want to decouple. We should work together to de-risk and diversify our supply chains away from China as quickly as possible. China says that these rare earths are used in military materials and that they want to maintain peace in the world. Again, it is the purchase of Russian oil by China that fuels the Russian war machine. China buys 60% of Russian energy. They buy 90% of Iranian energy. So who is fueling the Russian war machine? We will be producing photos soon, supplied to us by the Ukrainian government, that shows Chinese parts comprise substantial amounts of Ukrainian drones. So President Trump is the leader of peace. We should work together to de-risk and diversify. China's highly provocative move comes after we've made significant efforts to de-escalate tensions. While there are substantial actions we could take, we'd rather not. I believe China is open to discussion, and I am optimistic that this can be de-escalated. Ultimately, we are confident in the strong relationship between President Trump and President Xi. We've had substantial communication with the Chinese over the past few days, and we believe that there will be more forthcoming this week.
And thank you to Secretary Bessent at Treasury for updating us on where things stand with China on continued trade negotiations. And as he said, it's really China versus the world, and the United States seeks harmony in this process.
Yep, it is.
We do know they're fueling, literally, the Russian war machine against Ukraine at the moment, and that their purchases of oil, natural gas, really coming from the barrels of Iran and Russia. So we'll watch on how that relationship continues to develop over the course of the next few days, weeks, and months leading up to that potential meeting. Not a firm date on that yet, but we will be right here for all of that here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. Every year, it's the same old story. And someone in the family starts coughing, they get a fever. You might not think it's much, and then the entire household is sick. The problem is when everyone starts getting sick at once, the clinics get full, the pharmacies get backed up, and the
beautiful to 11 till 7.
And nobody did shit. So here you go. I'm sorry, this is a little crumpled.
Saucy hates snitches. Okay, I don't give a fuck. I am a fucking snitch.
This is him.
Oh, you printed off a picture?
Yes.
Oh.
Because I'm gonna have to, if nothing happens.
Made a wanted
see the
poster.
picture?
Oh.
Can we see the picture?
Yeah, 1 second.
Here's the wanted poster I made of him.
So it says a police report is being filed. So have you already filed?
No, I was gonna go to Broadview. I was gonna try. There was a journalist who was gonna come today. She had video footage of him doing it to me.
This motherfucker.
It is a wanted
Aren't you
poster.
Am I live right now?
Oh my.
This is a woman beater
I
right here.
understand that, but in the moment, if I started, if like,
Oh
if
my
I,
goodness gracious.
I can't answer.
I think I know why. It's because the dude was MAGA. That's why.
Thank you.
No, I'm just saying.
For the
If I
gift.
put my hands on somebody.
Yes,
But
yes,
you can understand the optics.
Araceli,
Like,
Araceli.
around, putting my
Yes,
hands
we
on
do
people,
need
I've been in zip ties.
Nice nails, lady.
Ugly
Not.
mayor. We gotta get rid of this
The
mayor.
hell were those?
ASAP.
Shit on me, drag
What bar
me
we
to
do?
wherever, because, you know,
Need to get them
but then
filled,
you can come in
backfilled or
here
whatever
and
it's
be
called,
physically aggressive
grown
with
out there.
people, and nothing happened. That's wild. That's crazy. You know that's messed up.
It is unfortunate.
And he did it in front of a bunch of officers who didn't do anything.
It is unfortunate.
Yeah, dude, my grandpa was a cop.
Screenshot,
My uncle was a
screenshot.
cop. Like, y'all are
Thank you
supposed
for
to
the
be protecting
follows.
us from people without warrants kicking in doors. They're stealing people. They're stealing American citizens off the streets. Like, there are people like my uncle was born on a military base
For real.
outside of the U.S. and they're deporting people who are not, who are like that, who are living that circumstance. There's a dude deported to
I'm
Jamaica.
good.
He'd never even been there. He was born
Waiting
in
for
America.
Don to come through.
My uncle is the only person in my family whose last name is Fernandez. What do you think his mileage is going to be with these Isingtons? You know, they're not going to give a
That's
shit.
Cynthia. We do not
taking our
mayor.
women and children and putting them in handcuffs, double handcuffs, feet and hand, children. Just because they're brown. You think they
Yeah,
give a
it's
shit
really
about
sad.
any of us?
She's crying.
Who are you to protect people in Illinois? They're
She's
hurting
crying.
people in Illinois.
Just got arrested and detained for 3 days, stripped naked.
They're stripping. They're like
joy to be with you here at Right Side Broadcasting Network's live desk for President Trump as we await a press conference hosting the 45th and 47th President of the United States, in addition to FBI Director Kash Patel. So we look forward to those comments and all they have to share with the American people on this fine Wednesday, October 15th. Can you believe it is October already? Wow, did the time fly by on the campaign trail last year?
Can't believe it.
2025 has sure gone quickly. as we reflect on what happened yesterday. It's Charlie Kirk's 32nd birthday, awarded posthumously the Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor.
Alright, so, alright.
Friends and family members reflected
Perfect.
on the life and the legacy of someone who in 31 years packed more into that than most do over the course of their entire lifetimes. But Charlie was someone who deeply believed in this constitutional republic, and many of those people sitting there may not be in the powers and influence seats that they're in, whether it be Congress, the executive branch, to other aspects of American life, without the fortitude and the determination of just a boy from Illinois, someone from the Prairie State who had a vision to do things better at 18 years old, first going to the 2012 Republican National Convention to tell donors there and to build a network of new, fair-minded conservatives, a big olive branch, a big tent, if you will, say, hey, we could do things better to get to millennials and ultimately Gen Z, to create a coalition that we now see in the course of American politics that has changed the ballgame in less than 13 years for Charlie, to remember his legacy, the president honoring him with the Medal of Freedom.
And we were live and saw
And a
the
citation video
ceremony
that
during last
really
night's
detailed,
show.
what was said there in that moment. As we look for that there's cut number 2, Mr. Producer, on President Trump ultimately with that Medal of Freedom video highlighting Charlie Kirk's contributions to the United States of America, again receiving the highest civilian honor in that of the medal.
Today we're here to honor and remember a fearless warrior for liberty, beloved leader who galvanized the next generation like nobody I've ever seen before, and an American patriot of the deepest conviction, the finest quality and the highest caliber, the late, great Charlie Kirk. He was assassinated in the prime of his life for boldly speaking the truth, for living his faith and relentlessly fighting for a better and stronger America. He loved this country. And that's why this afternoon it's my privilege to posthumously award Charles James Kirk our nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, President Trump. Thank you, Charles James Kirk. Your name is added to those list of civil rights icons, from Martin Luther King to Abraham Lincoln to countless others who stood for truth and clarity in a time when others would go the other direction.
Yes.
And so with charity and grace and fortitude, all inspired by your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So thank AngelPace.com, a miracle that is out of Spring, Texas, right off of the Gulf of America. They're Christian-owned. They hire veterans. They have the American Cream that is the vitamin B-infused OG.
Alright, so we're gonna mute. I am gonna switch back to Portland, Andy.
Maybe she does need something to do that. Jamaica Queens. You're not missing much, Aaron. Listen.
Yep. Broadview is a suburb of Chicago, I was right.
Tommy, yeah, I saw Tommy freaking see somebody up. Man, we watched the clip earlier. Tommy's giving them seizures out there, making them freaking do the Tommy games or something. What's up with that? That's crazy.
Oh yeah. Got nothing. Still ads on the right side. Alright. Alright, so
not illegal to eliminate. That's for sure. Elimination's not illegal.
Tyrannosaurus. Okay, that's funny. I'm gonna go back to shoot.
They said strobing is really.
Of what Charlie's ambition to help save this great country, that drive that led him to defending free enterprise and freedom of speech and the constitutional republic known as America, turning into a gospel mission, really becoming America's pastor. And the citation, cut 13, Mr. Producer, explaining it so well as
back to right side.
Presented the highest civilian order to his widow,
the presidential
Erica Kirk, who gave remarkable, glorious remarks yesterday in the Rose Garden.
The Presidential Medal of Freedom is awarded to Charles James Kirk. Accepting on behalf of Charlie is his wife, Mrs. Erica Kirk. Charlie Kirk was one of the most influential American political figures of his generation. At just 18 years old, he founded Turning Point USA and grew it into the largest conservative youth organization in the nation. For over a decade, he tirelessly traveled the country leading a movement to restore respect for our founding principles, reawaken our national identity, and inspire a renewed spirit of religious devotion. He was one of the great debaters and communicators of his time. Despite receiving repeated threats, he remained undeterred and modeled courage, logic, humor, and grace to the next generation. On September 10th, 2025, at age 31, Charlie Kirk was assassinated while addressing a group of students. The United States honors him as a martyr for truth and freedom.
I need to turn off the camera. Hold on. Is my
Perplexity has put out a recent new AI web browser for your use, and you can unlock a whole month free of Rumble Premium as a result. So I'm going to tell you about this comet.
All right.
No, not the one you see in the sky, but rather on your web.
So we're gonna go back to Portland, Andy.
Bring out the high beams, I guess. No strobe.
Browser, personal assistant.
I wonder what it's under. I want to see that.
The fuck?
And is there like an exact amount? What's considered a strobe? Is there like a certain like? practice on my YouTube damn lawyership. My YouTube lawyer degree is coming in handy, folks.
Excuse me! Excuse me! Have you seen the manager? Come on again.
YouTube lawyer.
God. A lot of these Antifa dumbasses are being lolcows.
Come on, bro. You're wearing a freaking Becky costume. Or a chicken costume. A little chicken costume.
Of course. Which was Michael?
Nice, beers and days.
Oh yeah, RIQ is dropping and save it.
Single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
Hey y'all, it's Sil from the Dinosaur Chit Chat Live Show. Look, don't forget to check me out right here on RSBN Network. Be sure to watch the show on Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. Yes, it's a great show, okay? I look to see y'all soon. Bye-bye.
Alright, so we are in ads, which means we may be getting our getting to the thing. Yeah, that thing, the press conference. Alright, so while we're waiting, I'm gonna check out chat to see if How? Quality. So I'll figure that out. Oh.
It was truly an amazing figure. And growing leaps and bounds.
We are
Knew that the fight to preserve our heritage is waged not only on the battlefield, but in the halls of power, which we have tremendous power.
Thing going on.
The head of the war, we call it now war. We had defense. We had our Secretary of Defense. Now we have a Secretary of War. And somehow I think it's more emblematic, and hopefully we'll never have to use war, but the fact that we're ready is very good. Peace through strength is very important, but also in the hearts of our nation's youth. That's where Charlie rode strongest. At age 18, that insight inspired Charlie to found the organization that ultimately touched the lives of millions and millions of people, and so many young people that nobody's ever seen anything like it, frankly. Turning Point USA. It's amazing. It's actually bigger now. It's become bigger in the last few weeks than Charlie ever thought.
President Trump is speaking.
I think his end vision in many years from now would have been just a fraction of what it turned out to be in a couple of weeks, right? It's amazing. With hard work and joyful spirit and endless enthusiasm and determination. And he did have great enthusiasm. And I would say you need enthusiasm to be successful. He had great enthusiasm. Charlie grew Turning Point into the largest conservative youth organization in the entire country. He forged a personal bond with countless young conservatives. He fought for free speech, religious liberty, strong borders, and a very strong and proud America. In everything he did, he put America first. He really put America first. And ultimately, Charlie became more than a leader of an important organization. He became the leader of historic movements all over the country. There were movements, individual movements, one movement. But it was historic. Everything he did was historic, and a true evangelist for the cause of freedom and the word of Almighty God. God was very important to Charlie. He would say, you know, if you don't have religion, you're not going to have a strong country. It's true. He was so wise beyond his years. You know, I talk to him sometimes and say, this guy is like a young guy. He was really a wise man.
Thank you to President Trump and that Rose Garden presentation yesterday.
So that was from yesterday.
MyPillow.com/RSBN. The 6-piece towel set's back in stock. Normally goes for $70, a good 70, now down to $40. A great, very limited quantity deal with the master marketer himself, as President Trump puts it. Speaking of the great Mike Lindell from Minnesota, MyPillow.com/RSBN. Call today, don't delay. It's 800-836-7566. Support Mike Lindell and Right Side Broadcasting Network with over 2,000 different options at the website. It's mypillow.com/RSBN. If you like what you see here on the right side of history, please feel free to donate to Right Side Broadcasting Network at rsbnetwork.com/donate. Text RSBN to 801801 or send a check and money order to 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, that's Box 344, in the loveliest village on the plains. It's Auburn, Alabama, 36830. 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, Auburn, Alabama 36830. Again, rsbnetwork.com/donate or text RSBN to 801-801. If you could do it electronically, we are grateful, as we are the alternative to a legacy media that sometimes is extraordinarily anti-American or tries to
Skew.
claim to put out facts and truth while it's cloaked in opinion. We will always give it to you as we analyze it here on the right side of history, and then bring you the full speeches, the press conferences, everything that you'll see today, President Trump and FBI Director Patel. So ultimately, you can make up your own mind as your go-to live desk in a golden era like no other, right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. Thank you for your support. We do love you, America. We love our viewers, and my goodness, those photos and videos from the campaign trail. We loved being out there as we've had some engagements this year, and we look forward to the midterms next year. So lots planned in store for your viewing pleasure over the course of this 47th presidency and 50th vice presidency. Your 119th Congress, currently in a shutdown because of Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, and the Democrats. As moments from now, we will see President Trump with FBI Director Patel. We will take that right there to the White House as soon as we get a feed that will bring you to those great gentlemen and those to talk more on intelligence, the Department of Justice. It's really fascinating to watch over the course of what we learned in 2 weeks that...
So I'm moving the Benny Show to us, to the main tab.
FBI Director James Comey pleading not guilty to 2 indictments. There's also his successor, the former FBI Director Christopher Wray, who instructed agents to be at the January 6th protest dating back to 2021. I think he has some explaining to do, perhaps under congressional testimony. Be the best place to do such dialogue. As Secretary Bessent calling out China today, and also...
So right now, the event is starting soon on The Benny Show, hosted by Benny Johnson. But for now, I have a JD delay video I want to take a look at.
Die today, get resurrected, and die a second time. You can eat dirty dog shit and die twice, for all I know. I'm not here for the people who want to make assumptions of me and then call me a Nazi and a
So
fascist.
apparently there's a battle for our country.
Those same words that they use
Probably
to
throwing
justify
Antifa.
killing Charlie Kirk, and that's sad and pathetic, and it's why you're unloved. You're not deserving of love. Hey guys, this is just a simple video, just me to you, keep me accountable, and keep you guys in the loop as to what is going on, because I know for the longest I have said, I'm not left, I'm not right, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I don't worship these politicians, they are the help. We literally pay them out of our tax dollars, we hire them through elections, and I'm not going to simp for the help. It's just not going to happen, it's not me. And I know that you guys have probably noticed that I've been leaning a bit more right. Well, there is a reason for that, and I want to sort of break it down to you guys as to what I feel is going on. Now, partially, it just comes down to there are a lot of people on the very, very far left who they're just making this thing about them. Because there are people out there that are just being hands down flat and fucking. And I don't vibe with them. Like, regardless, I'm going to stand against them. Now, I promise you, I'm still going to hold people on the right accountable when I see them doing things that I find important. I'm always going to hold people on the left and people on the right accountable for their bullshit. But it seems like there is a larger contingent of the militarized extreme left.
We have been seeing that.
Severe amounts of damage yet again in Portland, Oregon. I don't like it.
Throughout the last few days that the Scuffed President Show has existed, So, for example, throughout the last few days that the Scuffed Horizon show has even existed, there has been... We have seen how Portland has been controlled by Transquifa, or Antifa.
I tried to understand what they were going through. I tried to offer them a platform, and they called me names. They called me names that they used to justify to kill people. And then I started getting swatted, and I started getting death threats. Now, as somebody who's been to prison, as somebody who grew up in a bad neighborhood in California, as somebody who has grown up having to fight, who played in metal and punk rock bands, and when people with swastikas and SS bolts would show up, we would fist fight these motherfuckers. Do you know how hard it is for me to be peaceful?
With Everlights, you'll never have to climb the roof again. No more hours spent dangling over a ladder.
When people start calling me things like a Nazi and a white supremacist, but I want to be a peaceful human being today. I don't want people to be able to use words to get power over me and pull me out of my character for the person that I am today. I would much rather solve things with words, and if we can't...
Wait, what are we all?
...around with words, I'd rather just walk away. Because the person that I become, when I start giving into violent inclinations, is not the person that I want to be today. Also, I don't like prison. I don't like showering dudes. I don't like having to ask cops for toilet paper. I don't like being separated from my family. I like pussy and steak, dog. Hands down, flat out. I'm gonna run that back to you. That's the reality. I want to be nestled up with my wife every night. I like her cooking. She's a trad wife. My life is absolutely fucking amazing. And I've got a lot of people on the internet besides just what happened down there who are calling me these things. I know my heart. I know that I'm not hateful. I know that I'm not a racist. I know that I'm not a Nazi or a white supremacist, and I'm definitely not a fascist. The people who are...
We have a feed.
Great compliments, and you see outside how that's come out. It's been great.
We'll return
a lot of improvements to the White House, and we're doing that. One of the things you should be looking at is the Palm Court.
Turn that to...
Because that's been totally redone. So we like to preserve and make better the White House, and that's really what's happened, and getting tremendous reviews, and we appreciate it. But we're here for
President Trump, baby.
It's called Operation Summer Heat, which is an appropriate term in light of what we're doing. Early yesterday morning, I returned from the Middle East, where we celebrated a historic agreement to end years of suffering and conflict. Amazing. Every country came together. Even the enemies came out and totally embraced it. And I've never seen it like it. Nobody's seen it. Just as we are forging peace and stability abroad, we are also destroying peace and safety and stability at home. You see that in Washington, D.C. 12 days was very good. And within 30 days, it's the safest in the city.
Throw shit up Biden admin. Mm-hmm. Big facts. And we've seen Broadview. Bring in the devil dogs, the Marine Corps. I'm gonna turn off the snark. Go into Portland, Oregon. I'm gonna turn off my camera just so. Wow.
President Trump, the men and women of law enforcement say two things to me repeatedly. First, you have taken the handcuffs off and let them do their job, and you let cops be cops. That's why all this is happening. The director, the deputy director are working around the clock. All of this great men and women in the FBI, they have families, and they are working during a government shutdown right now. Many of them have small children. Many of them, I was talking to a patient this morning, many of them have babies at home, and they are working around
Give that man the wood chipper treatment. Ooh, we're getting to the questions.
dust. They call it drug dust. They call it fentanyl dust. All over the boat after those bombs go off. You can take along. We know before. We know when they go out. We know we have much information about each boat that goes out. Deep, strong information. No, we're looking at better options. We are. President Zelensky's coming in. Not a fan of the war. Not a fan of the way it started. So we never happy with him. It started, so the election was rigged. And because of that, we lost a lot of lives have been lost because of it. Not American lives. If I can save a lot of lives, that's why I'm in it. I want to save lives. And 8 wars. The Prime Minister of Pakistan got up there and he said so beautifully. He says, you saved millions of lives. He told that to the people right in the front. He said, the president saved millions of lives. And I think what he's referring to is the fact that that would have been India nuclear war. It was getting very close. There were 7 planes were from but 7 aircraft were shot. In fact, we have the new ambassador to India right here. They're well represented. They represent us, not them. But Sergio's going to do a great job. But no, we'll be talking about the war. We'll be talking about. They want to go offensive. I'll make a determination on that. But they would like to go offensive. You know that. We will have to make a determination. You mean deranged? Yeah, he's a deranged individual.
Trumpisms.
I'm surprised it takes so long. We're talking about violent crime. What about the crime against a political opponent? That's what we have to talk about.
Justice Department recognized President Trump.
I think it was the worst weaponization of the political opponent in the history of the world, let alone this country. And I hope that everybody's, they're involved in it. I'm the one that had to suffer through it and ultimately win. But what they did was criminal. James Jackson, in my opinion, is a criminal. And I noticed that his interviewer was, I think that was Weissman. And I hope they're going to look into Weissman too. Weissman's a bad guy. And he had somebody in Lisa, who was his puppet, worked in the office really as the top person. And I think that she should be looked at very strongly. There was tremendous criminal activity having to do with. We don't have fair elections in this country. We're not going to have a country. And I've said it from the beginning: fair elections and borders. And we need also fair press, because if you don't have fair press, it's very tough. And we have the strongest border of anybody. Nobody has a border. We have a border where the numbers just go again. Just so 0 people came in illegally. Take people in illegally, but 0 people. But you're talking about a different subject. You're talking about political crime. They have committed massive political crime. I hope they're looking at shift to shift. I hope they're looking at all these people. And I'm allowed to find out. I'm allowed, theories.
Bring back on the camera.
us, and we have no wars out there. And we made a lot of good friends. But tariffs are so important to our nation's security. If we don't have tariffs, we don't have national security. Our country will suffer a level of because they use so strong because, as you said, the European Union, they won't take our cars, they won't take our agriculture, they won't take anything. They send their cars I think this Justice Department has been so respectful of the law because the other Justice Department, Rita or Lisa, all of that scum, real scum, what they did to the political opponent of a guy that has a seriously low IQ. Now, in his case, it was low, based on but it got real low. It was descending rapidly. But what they did to go after his political opponent is legendary. Worse than any third world country, banana republic. And what
very, very sorry. I was doing that. Thank you very much.
And that was the press conference with President Trump, Attorney General Pam Bondi, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, and FBI Director Kash Patel. Now, I did not do a lot of commentary because I want to allow the president to speak. So what we've heard a lot of stuff, and I'm sure there will be clips which we will be covering in the Saturday show, which I am all doing a lot of prep for this Saturday show of the Saturday's Scuffed Horizon show, and we'll be covering it tonight on the Scuffed Horizon show's nightly program. Alright. So that was the press conference. We're going to go back to JD Delay, finish up that video, and then we are going to end the live. Big facts. Yeah, like, for everyone. It's not for everyone who is watching, if people are watching. I don't care what you believe in. You shouldn't care what I believe in. Just, that's a fact. Just, we can disagree with dialogue. Let me see if I can't turn down the gain, or if that turn up, sorry. Fine. Alright, there we go. Oh, I don't know. Who knows? But yes, let's go back. Ad. I don't have a premium. Facts. Yes. Yep. Oh, me neither.
Biological dudes and little girls' changing rooms and little girls' locker rooms in school. I think that that's a recipe for disaster. I think that it makes the girls uncomfortable, and I don't think that it's fair. And if that's a problem for you, and you think I'm some sort of ist, or that I'm some sort of phobic, I'm not going to argue with you, because you're not going to try to hear it anyway. Like I said earlier, die in a fucking fire for all that. I'm not going to commit violence against you, but I'm not going to give you space. I'm not going to give you energy. I'm not going to give you time or thought. Literally cut out of my life. I am super good at cutting people out. I block people every single day. These are my platforms. This is my community. If somebody is bringing stank pussy energy up in this pitch, they're gone, homie, and I don't think about it again. Not only for me, but because I don't want the people who have invested in my life and in who I am by hitting subscribe, by liking videos, by commenting, by coming back day after day and saying, hey, what the fuck is that dude talking about? I want to check that out. I'm going to click on that video. I don't want them to have to deal with the bullshit. Because honestly, it means so much to me that people would give their time to just hear me out. Because time time is the only thing that we really truly have. All the rest of this shit is fake. Money is a construct we came up with, and yeah, it makes things a lot easier to just exist on this floating rock in the middle of space if we have it because of the system that we have inherently built for humankind. But time is the most fleeting thing that we have. We have such a limited amount of it. And the fact that there are people out there who will spend some of their life listening to me, I take that as a high honor, and I take it with responsibility. So I'm gonna cut toxic people the fuck out. The same way that I cut toxic people the fuck out of my personal life. I don't ride out with lames. And I have so many positive, amazing people who I've connected with through the internet, and I am so grateful every single day. I literally start my day by asking God to speak to me and to help me to make some sort of difference in somebody's life every single day. And at the end of the day, I thank God for everyone that I'm connected with, for everything that He's brought into my life. And I try to walk in moral consistency and in my purpose in all things that I do. That's what's important to me. I don't care about the clicks, the views, the money. I care about being a good person. And I hope that I've made a difference in that. But if you're still watching this video at 15 minutes in, just know that I love you. And I appreciate you. Until the next one.
Alright, so that was JD with, because he has been covering Portland, and it's actually one of my inspirations to actually start the Scuffed Horizon show. So, that will have to do it for us tonight, or today. We will be back tonight at hopefully 7 p.m. Pacific time. I have some things to go over that I found on Twitter during my journalism, and we will be working through some other things. Alright, hold on. Let me just make a quick stream ending text. Okay. So we are ending. Thank you for watching. I will see you. Hold on. Let's go back to camera. Thank you for watching. I will see you all later. Peace.